What are the various things someone must have at the back of his mind before setting up this kind of demonstration center or somewhere to breed the goats to adjust them? What are the relevant things the person needs?
First of all, number one is knowledge. If you want to set up a breeding farm, even the main goat farm for meat, or because there must be a purpose for your farm. You don't just start a farm and said, oh, I'm into goats. No, that is not how it is done. You must first of all have a purpose for your farm. Are you going to run a breeding farm where you generate breeding stock for other farms to use for their farm? Are you going to run your farm for meat? Or you are going to run your farm for milk? Because goat milk is one of the most expensive milk and one of the most sought after milk. So you need to first of all have that understanding. Now with that understanding that is what now give birth to what kind of breed, you understand, function well according to my purpose of the farm. And once you have that knowledge, you now know, okay, this breed is what I want. If you need meat, if you want to run a meat farm, you now think of Kahari. If you are going for exotic, Kahari Red, you think of Savannah, you think of Boa. Though they are very pricey, but they are going to deliver what you want. But if you are not bank enough to go into that, you can also think local to like, okay, I'm going into meat. What are the commercial breed I have in my country? Like in Nigeria, you know, the commercial breed that we have here is like Sokoto Red. And also Saharian goat in the north. And Gulabi in the north. Now, you are now thinking of, okay, what male can I use to cross my female that will give me a more meaty kind of goat? Why? Or sheep? Why? When people are buying goat or sheep for meat, they are thinking of size. So you too, that is breeding for meat, need to think size. So it's not about feeding, it's about the breed, the DNA of the goat you are feeding. Because if you are, there is no way you will feed a West African dwarf that will become as big as Boa. Even with miracle, it won't happen. Because when the DNA is short, you know, even a dwarf child of an elephant is bigger than a goat.
Yes.
You understand? So, no matter how you feed a West African dwarf or your local goat, it cannot be as big as Savannah goat. It can't be as big as Kahari Red. So now, but you can think economically. Can I cross? Gulabi is around 1 point something million. But Kahari Red is from 1,000 something dollars up. You can say, okay, can I buy a Gulabi to cross my Sokoto Red and have a bigger size of meat? Because as at that time, you can sell one goat for 300,000. You can sell one goat for 200,000. You can sell one goat for 100 and something thousand. It becomes pricey. Can I use a Saharian male and cross my Sokoto Red or my West African dwarf so that I can increase the size of the meat that I'm giving out to the market? That knowledge is what is now making you think this way. That is why I say knowledge is the first thing. The second thing is, okay, two, if you are going for milk, you know that Sanai goats are the one for milk. Though they are foreign, but they can give you a lot of liters of milk per day. So you know that is what you are going for. But if you are going to do a breeding farm, you are going to run a farm with several kind of breed, but with history. Because people will be coming to your farm to ask for different kind of breeds. But you can also choose to call yourself so breeding farm. And people know if they come to you, oh, they will have Sokoto Red. If they come to you, they will have Saharian. If they come to you, they will have boa. If they come to you, they will have savannah. They will have any kind of assorted breed. You can be a sorted breeding farm in goat and sheep. There is nothing wrong about that. You can focus on one breed. There is nothing wrong about that. But that knowledge that you have to choose a purpose of your farm is number one. Number two is knowledge of nutrition. These goats are going to eat. How am I going to feed them? Am I going to plant their feet? There are seeds for sale. Can I get a land, plant this seed, these grasses ahead of time, cut them and dry them and keep as air, or turn them to just store them for future use? Because if you have enough places that are planting grasses for them, you can store grasses that can take you for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years. You understand? So those are the things you are looking at. What kind of vitamins am I going to be giving to my goats? Am I going to be getting mineral leaks? Am I going to be getting minerals? Where am I going to store them? You need to create those facilities for your goat. Now a vet need to come in, because once in a while these things will want to feed, just like human beings, they are eating. So you need to have, either you just work with a vet and learn some knowledge, pre-knowledge, because there will still be some issues that you need to call on vets to come and attend to them. Then another most important thing is their housing. Their housing is very, very important. We are advising every farm we are setting up to have a race pen for their goats, so that, because these animals, they don't feel comfortable when they are perceiving their urine and their droppings. They don't feel comfortable, and they can easily get infected from that. But if you have a race pen, their dropping will be going under, and that is money too, because even here, as we sweep this every day, we sell them off. A bag of a cement is 2,000.
Really?
Yes. So even the people that are sweeping out for you, and our own is even good, that when we sweep out, we mix it with that of the layers, so it becomes more potent for crops. And we also used to plant our own, because we also have farms too that we plant crops and things like that. So you see that area, whether you are running any pattern, any purpose, you see the dropping is the same. So it's manure, you sell it off, you bag them and sell it off. We always say in agriculture, nothing is a waste. Everything is useful in agriculture. So if you want to also use herbal remedies to treat them, knowledge is still what you need. But you need to have knowledge how to set up their pens, knowledge of nutrition, record keeping, their health, very, very important. But everything about your result begin with the breed.
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. Now we are going to do a little bit of backtracking, because you have mentioned a lot about knowledge. Could you tell us a bit of how you were able to gather your knowledge and how you actually ventured into this goat farming?
All right. It's a long story, but a very short one. I am actually a pastor by profession. I've pastored all my year. My father was a pastor, just passed on at 82. I've been pastoring, doing well, but I love business. I've opened an oil servicing company, Dozan Integrated Services Limited in Port Harcourt. Venture into Forex, with a lot of up and downs in Forex and things like that. But in 2022, I was diagnosed with cancer. I actually discovered that anytime I preach, once I come to sit down, I will find it very difficult to wake up, to stand up. At times, they will come and carry me. I will be supported to go to my car, go to my office. So I started having these pains in my inside towards the anus. I thought it was pile. So I started treating pile, doing things around that area. But the more I was doing, The more I was treating, it was getting worse. So in 2022, I lost my mother-in-law, and my wife has traveled for the burial, and I was just at home with my PA in Port Harcourt. I finished preaching on Sunday. I had a terrible pain throughout my system. If I want to stool, it would be like hell. And that morning, I needed to represent my pastor on an online program. I've gone that early morning, Monday, to go and lead in prayers. As I got into my car, I couldn't move. The pain was so much. And I managed to drive myself to the house and got into the room. So I felt as if I was heavy. I needed to stool. As I walked into the toilet, I wanted to put the whole of my system came out. I was smelling. My wife was not there. My PA thought I was in the room. He was in his own room. Until one pastor called my wife. My wife didn't pick. And my phone has broken at the time I fell down. So he now came. I now called my wife. My wife was like, it was the pastor who now come to the back window and discover I was inside. So I now beckoned on him to call one of my members. They called me, they took me. I tell him, just manage me the way you can. Take me to Akwa Ibom State. I arrived here. They took me to one hospital in Idoro Road. The doctor looked at the stuff. He said, that the way this thing is now, that if they carry out surgery on me, I will lose stool control because nearly everything has come out. I battled on this for a whole 1 year. I couldn't walk. So we now begin a journey of doing whatever means for this thing to go inside so that they can actually see where surgery can be done. Until we met a man who charged us so much money and brought a particular route, and I took. Was able over time draw the thing inside. So we still went back to the hospital. They said they can't operate this thing like that. It was like all hope was gone. I started doing chemotherapy to see if the thing can reduce, since we later found out that it was cancer of the colon. The pain was hell. It was in that journey of how will I fit my family like this. I had an idea of goat farming before, but you know the activities that come with a gospel. I actually studied theology, different from, I have a master's degree in theology, but I now started paying for courses online. Any seminar I see online, I knew the area. So while I was lying down on bed, I make sure I did not lack data. So I will join courses online. I will Google where they are doing training in South Africa on goat farming. That was when I discovered, there were different kind of goat farming. So I now choose this particular breeding stock to focus on because one, I didn't know I was going to walk again as I'm walking today. So I was like, even if I'm not able to walk, breeding farm is the only aspect of goat farming that people will need to come to the farm to buy their product. I don't need to carry the meat to the market or the animals to the market or going out to find wood to buy milk or not. So I now limited my study towards breeding aspect of it. And now begin to study about remedies, make some consultation, pay some people to teach me because a lot of knowledge out there are not free. So I have to pay. My wife will help me take some notes, will listen to some, take notes and things like that. That was how I was able to get certification in some of the courses. I was able to learn a lot I was able to later visit some farms that were close by when my wife started driving me around. And just till today, just like I keep saying, I'm a continuous student. I keep learning, but I am a practical application uh, continuous student. So as I learn, I apply and we keep going. We are going somewhere. This is just a beginning point of where we are going. We started here last 2 years and we are going somewhere. We have already helped a lot of farms and we are still going somewhere. So that is a nutshell of how I got here.
Wow. That is a very interesting and shocking story on how this goat farming came about. And this is actually going to serve as an encouragement to everyone that even on the point on your sick bed, you can still do something. Most of the things he learned it actually on the sick bed before he now started applying it. Now, the next thing we may want to know is that,
I actually started with chicken.
okay,
I started with chicken. I discovered it was very, very stressful.
okay,
I started with broilers. It was very stressful. And then two, I didn't have the strength to go out to market. So you discover that you will sell the small one people are coming to buy and use the money to buy feed to feed the remaining one. So at the end of the day, you may end up losing your capital. I also enter layers. I discover that it's about number and it's still stressful. But when I now focus on goats, I discovered that goat was a little bit less stressful. And I have somebody understanding what I'm doing. And my wife is there, so they help me out with that area that you need to carry something. And I just have to administer something and tell them what to do. The same thing I do when I'm consulting for a farm. I come show you what to do, help you get your breeding stock, help if there are some things I need to do on your breeding stock, I work on it, and then you come pick it to your farm, and then I begin to guide you from there, but not free.
of course, it's a pet service.
Yeah,
Of course, it's a pet service.
yeah.
Okay, now you have explained to us how you ventured into this. It means you actually took a lot of courses online and you visited a lot of farms to get to where you are. The next question we want to ask is, if in your own opinion or from your experience, what is the minimum someone should have before he go into goat farming? First, for this type of breeding farm, and secondly, to have a full farm, a normal farm.
Well, goat farming can be started from any level. Somebody can start a goat farm with one female and one male, depending on a breed. So we can't actually say this is how much you need to start a goat farm. Why? Breed still come into play because all goats are
Not
not
the
the
same.
same. According to my friend, all goats are not goats. Some goats are losers. Because if you want to start a farm and you need a brown goat, you know that one, you are going to come out from 1,600 to 1,800 dollars for in Nigeria for one of 4 months and above. There is even one you can get for $4,000 if you need a matured one. So you can use that to come and also talk about it. So depend on the breed. If you want to start with a local goat, you can see a local goat of 30,000, 47,000, 50,000, and you buy a male. But that will not be called a commercial goat farm because there is something that makes something commercial. Number one of the thing that makes something commercial is volume, frequency, volume and frequency and value. Volume, I think let me turn it upside down. Value, you understand? And then volume and then frequency. What are the numbers? How often do people demand this? and what is the value you are adding. So value is like what we are doing now. We are a breeding farm. We help people we help normalize foreign breed, northern breed in South. That is our value. We breed it for other farms. We don't breed for meat. Like now, if you buy one of my goat now, you say you want to go and kill it, I can cry like a father inside because I know the pains it took me to bring that goat. So I won't get the mind to sell my goat for meat. You understand? So that is one thing. So if you want to run a commercial goat farm, we said to run a successful commercial goat farm, you need to begin with at least 5 to 10 female and one other breed that is higher than those female to cross them. Because if you start with that, if you look at 2 years, let's say God is on your side and they give birth to two, or they give birth to, some give birth to 3. You can do the math by yourself. At that time, can you actually tell somebody after 2 years they're a commercial goat farmer? Yes, because I can walk into your farm and say I'm looking for 10 goats and I will have. But you can't tell me you're a commercial goat farmer with 1 goat. But goat farming can be started with 1, with 2, with 3, and then with any breed, depend on your pocket.
Your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. We are actually getting somewhere. This interview and discussion is making us learn a lot. The next thing we will want to find out on this goat farming. In your experience here, what are the challenges of running a successful goat farm? What are the challenges you face or that other farmers might face in course of running this thing?
Yeah, you know, there are different ways of running goat farm.
Okay.
There's what we call uh, intensive farming. There's semi-intensive. You understand? Intensive farming is when you build a pen and you go source for feed for your goats and they eat there, they don't go out. Semi-intensive is that you feed them, you also allow them to go to the field to graze. You understand? And now the open grazing, you know the policies now in the country does not even give room again for open grazing because of other people's clubs out there. So there's disease. There are outbreak of diseases in goat farming. That is why vaccination is very, very important. That is why we say get a goat from breeding farms. Get your stock from breeding farms so that you have vaccinated goat with medical histories. You understand? So that they can prevent all this. Here, we don't have problem of theft. But I know some farms have problem of theft. Maybe they hire wrong staff. Because that's another challenge. The staffing. How to hire the right staff. Because some of them can poison goats. And the goat die because they know they will go home with part of the meat. So there are a lot of things. So then fencing is important. Security lights, just like you see here, are important. It's not just fancy. It's needed. Water is necessary because there are going to be all those challenges you have. You understand? There may be miscarriages, a lot of things that you never expect. Like every other businesses, there are challenges in goat farming. But if we can surmount them, you too, with knowledge, you will surmount them. In fact, Jesus Christ said, you will do greater. So what we have surmounted, you will over surmount.
Thank you very much again for that very session. Now, we might also wish to understand, for the average viewer, the person might look around and say, this is a very small, what is he even doing? The goats are not even plenty. Can you explain to us the difference between having a very big farm, that's the commercial farm, and running this breeding facility, and how you are still profitable, even though your goats look like where 2 or 3 are gathered?
Yeah. Okay. In breeding farm, you first of all the way we work, in our own how we work here, we don't store large numbers of goats. We work on demand. If we are setting a farm for someone and that person is looking for breed from the north, we know normally if we bring those breed from the north and put in that farm, it may have challenges. So we keep space here in which we bring those goats first down here, treat them to get used. Just like I told you, all these ones are going out to a farm, except this pregnant one. Now, because this one has been here, has given birth before, we enjoy the birth they gave before, so we want to have the baby. We keep the male so that when female comes, because when they first arrived from the farm, though we get them vaccinated at the farm, we get them, but we still quarantine them for a month and then treat them, work on them, check their health issues, take good care of them, make sure that they can survive in the farm. Then we introduce them to the farm. We have so many farms that we are attending to. If we keep large amount of animals in this demonstration farm, we will not have time to attend to our customers out there that still need our services. So we reduce our workload in the farm. Though we are constructing our main site now, which may need more work power. You know the history how I started from cancer bed to here. You understand? But with all the knowledge, I started putting it this way. But we are still going to have where we are going to have large number of capital breeding stock later. But that time, my health need to come back fully to normal. I should be able to handle things more than what I'm handling now. So because of my health, I'm only handling what I can handle and then consult for other farms and make sure that they have the right breed, that my health condition is not affecting other people who need that vision, who want to activate their vision at this moment.
Okay. So you once mentioned earlier also that there are various parts of this value chains in this goat business. One can go for milk,
Yes.
one can go for meat, one can go for breeding, various value chains, and someone can key in. Can you give us, as someone in the breeding sector, can you tell us of the profitability of this breeding sector? Is it a very profitable venture, or will you also advise others, why don't you just go for meat since more people are buying goats from you?
Well, I believe that in every business there is where the money is. And to me, I don't know about another person. The money is in the breeding. Because the breeding is not just about the money. It's about that you are changing the history of animals in your own time. Because it's only a breeder that can change genetics. It's only a breeder that can change size of meat. I've been able to crossbreed local goat with Kahari, and the children become bigger. So if that breed is what is now running in my locality, I have changed something in my history. So breeders are the game changers. They are the meat giver. They are the milk giver. And they are the stock giver. So we are the engine room of goat farming. Don't know if that answers your question.
No, that answers the question. That answers the question a lot. In course of our conversation here, we have mentioned about the value chains of goats and a couple of other things. We want to have an idea. In your own locality here, do you go into planting the grasses? Because we know there are some specialized grasses they plant for some of these goats. Or how do you do about feeding them And what will you advise someone that is coming into the goat farming? Will you advise to plant grass, or will you advise them to go outside and just cut grasses and come and give them?
Well, depending on your location, like where we are now, we have enough grasses. We have elephant grass, we have Guinea grass, but I still have to buy Mesa grass from Ghana, which I planted, and once in a while I grant them in form of powder and mix it with feed and give it to them. I also still buy feed from the north to supplement with what I'm giving them. But the idea is, if you have the land, plant your feed ahead of time. Partition them for grazing and the one you will actually cut and keep as hay for them. Always make sure you plant your feed. You plant for your feeding. Don't venture into livestock farming without understanding where your feed is going to come from. It's going to hurt you, especially in dry season. That is why they said you should save your hair when the sun shines.
Make hair white.
Make hair. Make hair when the sun shines.
Yeah.
That was actually for goat. That was actually for livestock farming. Farming. Why? Because hair is a dry form of grass for livestock, and they love hair more than, and hair is better for them. So it's only when the sun shines that you make your hair. So you make your hair when the sun shines. Okay. So the person who actually came out with that was a farmer, and he was into livestock farming. So make your hair while the sun shines. Plan ahead of time. Plant your feed. Get your source of feed before you stock.
He has dropped a very key word there. Ensure you sort out the feed for your animals before you bring in the animals.
Yes.
If not, your animals will starve.
Housing and feeding before you stock.
Housing and feeding before you stock in any animal.
See, you can see this place look like this, but I've shown you the one that have POP, right?
Yes.
So they don't dwell here
yes.
at night. Why this side is on construction? They have a whole big self-contained with POP that they enjoy. So they don't have that cool breeze in the night. They don't, why at the other side, this side is being swept. As you are sitting down here, do you perceive anything? No. Do you perceive anything as if this number of goats are here? Because the place is well taken care of. It's not because the wall is not plastered. It's how hygienic this place is. And we disinfect the place always.
What is the major cause of death for goats in a farm, especially when you bring in goats from the north and bring it to the south? What is the major cause of death?
Well, the major source of death is, first of all, your source. If you go to the meat market, most of the goats you buy from the meat market are called goat meat. You understand? So they were meant to die. Because if they don't die, there will be no meat. So if you go to meat market and buy goat meat, the purpose is supposed to be for meat. So even if you don't kill them, they will die, so that you can eat them, because the purpose was meat. That's number one. Number two is climate change. These guys, maybe if you go to the north and get the goats, they are not used to this area. They are not used to all this moisture on the ground and all this water, too much rain, too much cold. That weather shock can kill them. Number three, some of these meat you bought were fattened. They were put into intensive feeding so that they can develop the meat and muscle for you to see it and appreciate. And as you buy them, because you didn't know the history, you are now following the pattern in which you change their feed drastically, they will die. You understand? That's why you see most of those goats, before they die, you see them having diarrhea, coughing, running nose, and things like that before they give up. And some that die wanted to die.
And if you want to prevent them from dying, Is there anything, let's say someone have already bought the goat, someone have already started on the wrong foot by buying a goat in the market and they're not randomly, what will you advise the person to at least save some of them?
Well, you just keep walking and hoping and doing the right thing. Because if you like a woman with heavy body, you should not go and marry a daughter of a woman that is slim and the father is slim. You understand?
Yeah.
You should check the size of the mother and the father and check whether this slim lady before you have fat in her system. The purpose of what you want to do with goats should determine where you buy the goats. If you make that mistake, breed, source, you may suffer what you could have. I think it's Gege that normally said, as I know,
The
the
last
last
comment
comment of a fool. Gege, I've quoted you today.
All right. Okay. Now we have actually done a very long interview. We have learned a lot. We have been motivated, especially to go into the goat farming business. That is actually a very profitable business. What is your final word of advice for young people or for people that want to go into goat farming? What is your word of advice for them based on profitability and ability to run the place?
Let me tell you one thing that many of us don't know. The amount of goat consumed in a week in your local government, in your city, will blow your mind. And in the whole South, there are no much, in fact, there is a lot of vacuum in commercial goat farming. 99% of goats eaten in the whole of South are imported from the other region of the country. You can make a research before you counter me. But if you sell that your big phone, that iPhone 8 that you are using and still looking for urgent 2K, you can sell that phone, remove the SIM card, put in a small phone, use the money to buy goats, 1 or 2 or 3, and start a goat farm. You will discover if you have a good breed, there is a big market for it. Don't ask me where is the market. Wake up where you are now. Check any goat market around you. On the beginning of the week, check the number of goats and trailers that comes in with goats, and then go back again weekend and see what is remaining. That will answer where is the market. So every young person, everyone working, planning for retirement, use part of your salary and begin to set up a commercial goat farm. Begin with 5, begin with 2, begin with 3, begin from anywhere, but have knowledge first and work with the knowledge. 5 goats with knowledge can turn to 70 in no time, but 100 goats without knowledge can perish in a day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We have learned a lot about goat farming. We have seen the profitability in the goat business. Therefore, if you are looking for something to do in the agricultural space, the ocean is too wide. Wherever you key in, you are going to make it, but you must equip yourself with the right knowledge. Join us in this goat business, and I bet you will not regret it. Thank you very much.